Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the East Coast Rams podcast. I am your single host right now. Ashton, Zach is busy enjoying his birthday this weekend, and I decided to go ahead and do a draft live stream. Sorry, I'm getting the light set up. Was having some issues with my mic. But yeah, I'm excited to watch the draft. I decided to try to do live stream, talk with you guys. I think I'm going to be able to have a guest or two on, try to jump on, get some reactions to picks. One of the guys I know is a Cardinals podcaster. So hopefully we can get him on and get some of his insight into the draft and also possibly insight into the Cardinals pick if they move out of it or not. I did a podcast with him a few months ago, or like 2 months ago, a few weeks, and it was really insightful, really good. Let me go ahead and get his name and kind of give that to y'all if you guys want to look him up. He's a really awesome dude, and it was a really fun podcast to do. It's the Cardinal Rule. So I would definitely recommend him. He knows his stuff. And it was kind of fun talking about Mike LaFleur in Arizona. But how are you guys feeling? It is draft night. The Rams have a first round pick. I know that's a little new for us. I know we made it last year with Verse, but we're not used to this feeling, kind of having it. Oh, we got a trade down by Mod. Are you guys agreeing with that? Or are you guys wanting? I want to trade up. If you guys are regular listeners to podcasts, I am always typically the guy who wants to trade up, get the premium players. I was pounding the table 2 years ago for Bowers. I wanted us to trade so badly to get Bowers. He was definitely one of the players. I was like, he's going to be generational. He's going to be great. I'm a Georgia fan and a South Carolina fan. Not to level I like the Rams, but I just knew Bowers from seeing him in Georgia was going to be special. And you just sometimes you can tell with certain players. And Love is up there. I don't know if I still don't like him as much as I liked Ashton Genty last year. And don't give me any like Ashton Genty hate. He was fantastic for the Raiders for the fact that they had a bottom 5 O line. I think at a certain point in the year, a lot of people don't realize this. His yards were above 100% yards after contact after 8 or 9 weeks. Just think about that. That every yard he got at a certain point in the year was yards after contact. It is nuts that he ended up being a top 10 NFL running back with a line that bad. I don't know if I like Love as much as that, but the things Love can do receiving wise, I think he is also underrated blocking, and he can take it to the house any second. He would be such a compliment to this offense in more than one way. Uh, I don't know, dude. I think there's a lot of smoke for them staying in the first round. Personally, I just I could see. I think they're most likely if they trade up, it's like to 8 or 9 to get Tate or Tyson. That's my personal belief. If they stay at 13, they most likely will get Lemon. If I would imagine they're either getting Lemon or they are going for Sadiq. And just thinking about it now, and let me double check, see it hasn't started. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes they started early. My issue with Sadiq isn't that he's not an athletic freak. Absolutely, guys. He is going to be a crazy athlete. He can catch. That's not my issue with him. If you look at how often he did inline blocking, it's one of the lower percentages of this tight end class. And this is a sneaky good tight end class. It isn't a great one. It isn't like going to be remembered, but there's a few like gems in there that potentially people can draft and get. Like I think Oscar Delp is underrated. There's a few guys that I do like. But with Sadiq, I think the issue is he just has such a small sample size of blocking in line. Outside, he's perfectly awesome at blocking. Like, he's really good at blocking corners. That's not an issue. But against the bigger linebackers and defensive ends, he does struggle mightily, and he also didn't do it that often in college. So that's going to have to be an area of his game that he improves in the NFL. And you're just not going to get that early in his career. And that's going to be a limitation of his, kind of like we saw with Ferguson in his first year. You're going to have to put Parkinson and Higbee in those inline snaps, or potentially Ferguson if he's grown in that game. So I think when he catches the ball, Sadiq is going to be a threat, and we could use him potentially like a slot wide receiver functionally. So that would be an option. I Yeah, how are you guys feeling about, like, Sadiq, Lemon, kinda like these big name guys that a lot of people have been floating around the Rams? And, how do you guys feel if it's a guard or a tackle? I That would be crazy, right? Oh, hey, Nate, how are you doing? Let me make sure I am sorry I'm not completely centered on the mobile version. It doesn't look pretty on the mobile version. I'm gonna try to see if I can fix that for you. I'm trying to have the draft tracker for people watching on YouTube. I don't know if you guys want me to remove that or not, if it's necessary. I know you guys probably gonna have the draft on in the background like I do. So it's just to keep track more than anything. Let me see if I can make Uh, I'll try to make this a little bit smaller so it looks a little bit better for you guys. And then I'll try to stay centered. Yeah, sorry. This first time we have tried to do a live stream during the draft, so we'll work through it as it goes. Uh, but I'm excited. There's a lot of smoke that the Rams are possibly going to trade up from 13. I hope that's what they do. This is a weird draft. It's a weird draft because a lot of the, you would say, blue chip prospects are non highly like valued positions in the NFL, like linebacker, running back. You could say Sadiq, but I wouldn't necessarily classify him as a blue chip. He is like the tier right below blue chip. I think he's going to be really good, but the linebackers from Ohio State, both of those kids are absolutely nuts. Reese and yeah, let me go ahead and pull up. I'm terrible with names, guys. I'm more of a face person. I am way more of a face person. Okay, here we go. So yeah, Reese or Sony Styles, I would absolutely be happy if we end up trading up and getting one of those guys. I don't I don't imagine that they're trading up for defense after investing as much as they did in cornerback in the offseason. What? Yeah, I mean, Snead is really good at putting out like smoke screens and basically making it where other teams kind of don't know what the Rams are going to do. And it does make it a little bit advantageous for you so people don't jump you or jump where you're going to go. It's especially useful if we're trading back and we get in the later first round because you don't want people jumping up from the second round if we're like trading back to 26, 25, and you're targeting someone. So if they trade up the 3, there's only really, I would imagine if we go 3 or 4, you have Ruben Bain, you have Sony Styles, and potentially Jeremiah Love, really the only 3 targets I could imagine if they move up early. We should draft defense. I mean, yeah, but look at where the major weakness of our defense was last year. It was the secondary, and they mostly addressed that. You could argue that some of the run defense in the middle of the season had a few issues. You potentially could address that. This isn't a really heavy, like, interior D lineman draft, especially in the first round. And most of those people, if we drafted them, they wouldn't start for us anyways. All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and bring in our first guest, and let me go ahead and change the view. All right, man. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Ashton?
I am doing great. I am adjusting our screen right now as we talk because it looks a little weird.
Right. Yeah. The different formats. So, yeah, man. So I'm excited. I feel like there's a lot of fireworks going to happen. I mean, there's just
Yes.
a lot of people hinting that there might be some crazy stuff going on. We'll see. Obviously, my team's slated to pick pretty early, but we'll see if they're trade backs. That's certainly been in the talks. And
Yeah.
I know you and I were going back and forth on Twitter a little bit, with some conversation about possible trades and things like that and what that would take. So, man, it's here. All this prep and the draft is finally here.
Yeah, man. I remembered prepping for that show and like learning a lot about this class. And it was a very fun class, a very interesting class. And I know we said that on your podcast. Do you want to real quickly introduce yourself, plug yourself a little bit?
Yeah, my name's Joe. I have a YouTube channel called The Cardinal Rule. On Twitter, you can find me at my tag is there at JOKOMO13, JOKOMO13. I've been an Arizona Cardinals fan for a long time, probably longer than you've been alive, to be quite frank. When they moved there in '88, I was living there. So I remember that. So I've been a fan forever. My career has brought me to Georgia. So I'm away from Arizona, but I am from Arizona. So I started creating YouTube content as just sort of a way to talk about the team I love and just kind of be connected. And I've, and doing that. And I can tell you that's been kind of your experience, and it's been great. It's fun talking about my team, but it's also been great because it's allowed me to connect with other Cardinals fans and feel a little bit of a sense of community and feel connected to a team that I'm a couple thousand miles away from. So, I started making content, I think it was like 5 years ago, making analysis videos and then doing live streams. I've kind of scaled back a bit just because I've got other things, I spend my time on other life and stuff, but I do, I have a couple other folks that also do podcasts on my channel with me. And then I do the Mock Draft Monday thing that you were a guest on. The draft is my favorite sporting event of the year, which tells what a nerd I am. I have a good friend, Mike, who I've known for a long time, 25 years or something. And every year he texts me, and he texts me this year, Merry Draftsmas, because he knows it's my Christmas, my sports Christmas. So this is my favorite thing. Definitely nerd out on this.
Yeah, I do want to say, like, as we're starting out, I love the draft because of the story of people achieving their dreams and seeing these kids. And I know I was there, not to the same level of success, but when you achieve your dreams and you get to a goal this big, you really do want to honor these kids and what they have worked up to this point. Now, going into NFL from college, it's a hard transition. There's a lot that people don't like include in the complexity of that transition, whether how good the coaching is, whether you're in the right
Mhm.
position, like the lack of growth from people personally, and the excess of growth personally. There's a lot of stuff that when we just say someone's a bust, someone's a gym and stuff, like a lot goes into that process and whether a person is successful or not when they're drafted. But I think the story of these kids being celebrated in their success, it is worthy to kind of know. And yeah, man, I'm happy you could jump on here and
Yeah.
kind of analysis, and we can talk about what the Rams can do, what the Cardinals will do. I think it's a pivotal draft for both franchises. First off, the draft is officially started. I don't know if the Raiders are officially on the clock right now. They are. I think me and you understand. We kind of know where the Raiders are gonna go here. Question is, what do you think the Jets do here, and how does it impact what the Cardinals want to do? Do you think it's more relevant at 3 what the Jets do, or if they go David Bailey over Reese, does that really change the complexity of what the Cardinals want?
I think the number one thing that affects what the Cardinals do is if they can find a trade partner. I think, regardless of what happens, aside from the unthinkable and Mendoza sliding, which the Jets would take him anyway, if the
Yeah, the
unthinkable
Jets
happened,
would take him.
the Cardinals, in my view, and this, at least from what I heard, and understand and sense, is want to trade back. So I think it doesn't matter who's there, that they're going to trade back.
So you don't buy the love
Um,
smoke.
here's my okay. So this is my best sense, and obviously this is just reading tea leaves and hearing rumors. What I hear, and again, I don't know if this is accurate or not, but is that our general manager Montias, for his first choice is to trade back. That if he's sixth there, he likes David Bailey. The owner wants Jeremiah Love because it's exciting and it sells tickets, but the first choice is a trade back for the. Now that's what I hear, but there's also like this argument, and people, I think this could be it, like could be real, is like, are they just floating names out there to try to garner interest for a trade? Like, is it all smoke screen? So I don't know. But like, I think if they get a trade back offer that's reasonable, that's what they're doing. If they don't get that offer, I think what the Jets do at 2 could very much influence, because maybe, and I this is again speculations, but if the general manager really likes David Bailey more than Arvell Reese, and the owner kind of likes Love, maybe it's a scenario where if David Bailey goes off the board, and then they go with Love because that's, but if Arvell Reese goes off the board and Bailey's there, maybe they go Bailey. And again, this is all speculation based on putting those things together. I'm Jeremiah Love is going to be a great player in the NFL, I believe, but I don't think it's the right pick for the Cardinals, because if you're not ready for that running back, you like Saquon Barkley. Look at what happened with him with the Giants. That he was good, but they weren't good. And there's a history of that. And I have a friend, Kyler Bird, who put out a tweet that I retweeted that did some really great analysis, where he looked at the recent, like the last 5 or 6 running backs taken in the top 10, going back to Todd Gurley. And he looked at the team's record that first year, and then the 3 years that followed that. And then he looked at like who was the starting quarterback. And it's pretty straightforward. The running backs were drafted early if they had a franchise quarterback, like a Dak Prescott in place or someone like that. The team could win. If they did not, the next 3 years they had losing records. And so this team is not ready for that. So you squander that prime. So he's a great player. He'd be exciting if they draft him. I will cheer for him and hope they make it work. But from a process perspective, it's not right. So
and most of those running backs were going in situations where they kind of had the O-lines mostly figured out. I would say like 80% they were probably missing a tackle or something. Like, for example, when the Falcons drafted Bijan, they were a top 5 run blocking team that year.
Yeah.
I believe Tyler Algier was the starting running back the year before they got Bijan.
Yeah.
So I do think there is kind of like, the issue is like by the time your team gets good enough to use that running back, they're going to be off their rookie contract, and their cost while it doesn't completely balloon, especially after Todd Gurley, it's still like it gets to the point where like, is it really worth it? And everyone else on your team is also getting to that point where they're going to need a second contract a year or so after, right? That running back is, especially if it's a young quarterback, a young stud wide receiver.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it, especially at pick 3, that's such an expensive pick to take at a running back. I think he would have the most guaranteed money out of any running back at 3 in the
Yeah.
league, coming out straight without playing a snap. So, I
Yeah.
mean, he's not going to be a bad player if you guys do end up taking him. I think we can talk about what we talked a little bit on Twitter
Mhm.
was entertaining the Rams trading up, because I do think out all the teams kind of hinted at wanting to trade up, the Rams are probably have the most aggressive GM. I think the only other GM that's as aggressive as Les Need is probably Howie Roseman.
Mhm.
That's the only one I can think of. And I personally, I know the rest of the fan base probably doesn't agree with me when it comes to the Rams. I would trade 27 picks. And I know that's going to be a hot commodity here in the next season, especially with how these GMs are viewing these 27 picks. Do you think if the Rams come out with a package including 27 picks, that could give them an edge over these other teams only trying to bundle seconds, thirds, like
Right.
a few fifths to move up?
I could see a scenario where if the Rams were willing to offer a first round pick next year, right? Which, obviously, if you're a Rams fan, you're hoping that's pick 32, and they are for a lot of people the favorite, right? They're a Super Bowl favorite. And if you're the Rams, you're in your window with Stafford, and so if you're the Cardinals, the idea with that is okay. Next year, you want to, if you don't end up being one of the top 3 picks, and a lot of people think Cardinals are going to be the worst team in the league, or one of the worst teams. I shouldn't say the worst, one of the worst teams in the league next year. They might. I mean, they're not going to be a playoff team. It would be really unlikely, but they might win enough games to be pick 4, 5, 6, and kind of then be, in that next tier. So if you can add some draft capital, that gives you ammunition to move up next year potentially if that scenario
Yeah.
happens. So even if it's a late first round pick, that late first round pick becomes a little more draft capital to move up. So I could see that happening. Maybe the Cardinals decide, okay, yeah, if the Rams are offering their first this year, their first next year, and like a day 2 pick, to move up to 3. Then you look at that and you're like, okay, well, we can go back to, where you're picking now, gets a tackle like Blake Miller, right? Someone we need. And maybe then maybe we go, then we get another day 2 pick to add another piece. And then we got the draft capital. I could see that, but I do think that if a team like the Chiefs or the Cowboys come calling with their 2 first round picks and offer both of those, I still think that'd be hard. They'd have a hard time. I think the Rams have a hard time beating the Cardinals for that pick without overpaying even more, even with the next year's pick.
I mean, I would look at it this way, though. Next year is going to be such a QB heavy draft. You almost, if you're a QB needy team, you almost have to have a second first rounder, unless if you're in the top 3, top 5. If you want a premium QB selection, right? You could end up being, you either have a terrible year and you had that pick anyways, or if you're at like 6 to the 8 range, you're going to want something to be able to bundle up and trade up. So I do think that gives an extra premium to that 27 pick. Do you think they would entertain? I guess this would have to be a situation where you don't have a lot of other buyers, but our second this year, our third this year, and the second next year.
I mean, I think it's possible. I think, and there are people saying that they're not getting a lot of, there's rumors that they're not getting a lot of attention for that. Not a lot of people, not a lot of solid offers for pick 3. So listen, if they're not getting a solid offer, then I think they're going to they'd really consider that, rather than sticking.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
could see that. Yeah.
This year, and I think I mentioned it on your show, always felt like because of how highly other teams are viewing 27 picks, I was like, it's going to be kind of a slow first round unless the people are willing to trade back because of like mid round picks this year. And I didn't know if GMs would really be willing to. And apparently, it's come out in the last few days, they will be willing to, just because they view like the difference of what between picks 15 and like pick 100. There's not a lot of variation there between the players, and you want to get more ammunition than you do just having the single picks around 15 to 30
Right.
outside of getting the 50-year option. So it's going to be a fascinating draft, and it does sound like there's going to be a lot of fireworks with people trading back for mid-round picks and getting more shots at the target than anything else.
Yeah, I think they're like they talked about, like, are there going to be a lot of trades, and there's not going to be probably many teams looking to trade future draft capital, but I could see a lot of moving around the board, on day 2 and 3 like that, so kind of little trades to posture here and there, right? So obviously now they just announced a pick. The least surprising thing of all is Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah, Mendoza, 1 overall.
Yep. So everyone knew that was coming, so there's no shock there. The Jets are on the clock, so this is where it gets kind of interesting to see what happens next.
Yes, everyone's expecting either Reese or the other edge rusher, Bailey. Do you think there's any shockers there that the Jets could pull? Like, you would find it hard to imagine them taking Love. I guess Noah would be a little surprising, especially this early. I would find it hard to imagine they would pull the trigger on him at 2.
Yeah, you've got a head coach who's on borrowed time. He's really, Aaron Glenn, like, he's, is he this, if a lot of people think he's going to be done through this year unless he really does something surprising to turn it around. But I think the general manager, like, is going to think a little more. I don't know. I don't think they're going to go, like, as much as the coach might want to find what's the guy that, gets them the quickest to winning some, short-term, production. Like, Love would be a guy who'd come in and have the immediate impact, but some of the defensive players would be better long-term building blocks for what, the Jets are what they need. And I think the general manager, I would guess, will probably lean more towards that. So, I mean,
that
Love,
defense was rough, man.
Yeah. I mean,
they have talent.
Yeah. So I think, what you're looking at, I mean, I think it's probably Bailey, but it could see it being Reese. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I could see a world where they might want to take the lane early. Like, you lost Sauce, you got an extra first for him. He's kind of the consensus DB1, pretty good length, fast guy. I mean, he would be a good replacement. I'm just kind of like shoot out there, like, surprise picks potentially, because
I think
what happens every year, like, teams take,
like, there's some cornerbacks they can get later that are going to be good cornerbacks. So I don't think there's likely to, to reach for cornerback here. I really do think I think they're going I think it's going to be Bailey or Reese. I'd be really, really surprised if it was any other direction for the Jets.
Do you have a preference between the two?
In terms of, like, which one I would hope would fall to the Cardinals?
Yeah.
Bailey, I'm just not as sold on Bailey. I'm not saying he's not going to be a good player. He's not good against the run. There's some off the field, or some history of kind of some, outbursts and some aggressive kind of stuff that a little questionable. Reese, I know people don't like because he's a tweener. Some people see that and he's a hybrid, but, like, the upside with Reese is higher. He has played off ball and edge. He's not, people say, well, he's more of a not really a true edge, but people also talk about his first step and his athleticism and his strength. and like the raw tools are really off the chart. And like with a little bit of development, he's going to be, has a higher upside.
Yeah.
My first choice is trade back, but if they don't trade back, I would rather probably have Reese than Bailey if it's me. But my first choice is Bane. I mean, I like Bane like better than like Bane is maybe a higher floor, lower ceiling than Reese, but he's really good against the run. I'm just a big fan, and the Jets pick is in, so we'll see who it is soon.
So, like, we can have a little conversation here while we're waiting on the Jets pick. Bane is an interesting player because of the arm length. You see all the like funny memes of him like
Mhm.
matching up against the tackle for the Patriots and the two dinosaurs
Yeah,
fighting
the
the two T
T-Rexes.
Rexes.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think I may have shared that one.
yeah, is that? Do you think that's a concern? Because it does remind me a lot. Again, you don't want to use Aaron Donald as comparison for every like undersized player.
Mhm.
But I do think there's a concept of some of these teams get so hanged up on these fundamental sizes that they want to hit that they do miss on these talented players that otherwise would have gone in the top 5, right?
Yeah. Well, and here I would tell you the pick is in, and it's David Bailey. It's on ESPN. They've reported that. But
Okay.
for Bane, I'm not worried about the arm length. Because he's played with those arms his entire college career,
Yep.
and I know that people talk about he will lose some reps against tackles. There will be some where he will get beat because of that. But like pass rush is not like it's like think about like in baseball. If you bat 300, you're batting well, right?
Yeah.
You don't win every rep as a pass rusher, but he wins more than he loses. He'll lose some because of arm length, but he'll win more because of tenacity, strength, his technique, all the other things he does. Arm length for a tackle matters more because you have to win the vast majority of reps. It's much more like being a goalie in hockey. You lose, you lose a rep, it's a goal. You lose a rep, it's a sack for a tackle. So arm length and offensive tackle matters more to me, but on on edge, for the way he plays, listen, maybe he's a guy who averages 8 sacks instead of 12, but he's going to be good against the run too, and he's going to be tenacious, and he's going to be the kind of
Yeah.
guy you want kind of in terms of what he brings to the field. So for me, yeah, I'm not concerned. I think he's going to be really good. So
No,
David,
I totally agree with you. And I think another thing people underscore with those undersized tackles or edges is they actually sometimes get a benefit from their size because they get good leverage. And
Mhm.
it's the question is, are you strong enough to utilize that leverage against a tackle bigger than you? Because it's easier to knock them off balance. And that's one of the reasons why Aaron Donald was so good despite his size, because he was able to learn how to use that incredible strength
Yeah,
mixed with his posture and his kind of leverage their advantage that he got, and that's
yeah,
why he won so much. So I think Bane has that too.
yeah,
If if he can utilize it, I think he's going to be a really good player in the NFL. He is one I am positive on, and I agree with you, David Bailey. Man, he kind of gives me vibes of the Jaguars' first overall pick from like 4 or 5 years ago,
yeah,
like a
yeah,
decent edge rusher, but can he keep contained against some of
yeah,
these running backs and quarterbacks? Kind of struggles to do that. He's only in the last 3 or 4 years gone to a good level at keeping that contained.
yeah. Well, so the Cardinals are on the board right now. It
Yep.
says that the time is still ticking down. It does not say the pick's in yet. I really
Well,
hope they trade, but I don't
I
know.
think you don't wait until 3 minutes left unless if you're trying to trade back,
I mean,
personally.
they might be on the phone trying to work something out, but if you don't get the deal, but usually at
You
this
don't
point
get
they've
the
had,
deal.
of course, at this point you usually have had those conversations where you've got kind of the deal in principle
They
worked out. Usually you've
they
got
could
teams that
be
say
trying to
if this
leverage.
happens, maybe, or maybe they're just kind
more
of
assets.
maybe they're just going through the process of getting the trade called in and they're finalizing it. Yeah, or maybe they're
True.
competing, or maybe they're weighing a couple options, or maybe not
Competing offers.
I hope.
I feel like if you had to pick and you didn't have any offers right now, they would have probably already put in the pick.
Maybe.
But they're trying to decide between taking the offer and making the pick. I would have to imagine it's that.
They might be on the phone though, trying to see if they can drum up. I mean, who knows? It's hard to know, but the fact that it's ticking down, I really, I obviously, as I've said, I want a trade. I just don't like the options at 3 as much as I like the taking option later and having another pick later. So we'll see.
What's the furthest back you would want to trade?
For me, I feel like they need to get an offensive tackle. I like Blake Miller as a tackle. There's some other guys I like. So if I think you can go back, like the Cowboys pick at 12. You can go back there and get a guy that you like. I don't think they want to go back terribly far.
The pick is in.
The
Cardinals are apparently making a pick at 3. They do not trade down. So the question is, who is it?
So I'm going to listen to it live. I got a bad feeling. I don't want a spoiler. I don't want a spoiler in the.
I won't say anything. I won't say anything or click on the chat. So chat, please do not
I've gone away from the chat to your chat. So let's see. The pick is in.
So who you think it is? Gut feeling.
My gut feeling is a bad feeling in that it's Love, but maybe Arvell Reese. So
I'm gonna say it's Reese.
Yeah,
but man, I'm so worried it's gonna be Noah or Love. I doubt it's Noah. It has to be either Love or Reese, right? That is
Noah is an outside pick. So
man.
So let's see. Don't. Yeah, I can't look at your screen because you've got the thing up, and sometimes it pops up early there.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, that's all right. I'm looking at the live stream or the TV show. So okay. All right, here we go. Here comes the commish.
Okay, I'm watching it live with you too on my.
In the 2026 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Jeremiah Love.
Wow, they did it.
He's going to be exciting.
Love, wow.
He's going to be exciting. He's going to be fun to watch. So, yeah. So my reaction is it's not what I wanted, but he is going to be exciting. So
he is going to be a dynamic player for you guys, a starting running back for his entire career. He can catch it. He can play in 12 personnel as a tight end. He can play in a fullback spot, running back, wide receiver. I think for Michael LaFleur, he's going to be an all-around weapon to add onto a team full of weapons already. Yeah. The question is, can you guys sew up that O-line? Can you sew up potentially having the quarterback spot for a year, have decent quarterback play, and have your defense play good enough to be able to win shootouts, right? That's the goal.
Yeah, it's, and like I said, that they're not ready to capitalize on it, so hopefully they get their stuff together quick because they've got to get the quarterback in place. I have a feeling it's going to be. I have a feeling they're going to be getting Ty Simpson at some point in the draft too. So,
you think they go Simpson for a late start?
Yeah.
You think they trade up in the first?
maybe
get
to get
that.
that 5th-year option. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, so I mentioned to you, I got to bail because I'm going to do a reaction video. But
Awesome, man. Thank
thanks
you
for
so
having me hang
much.
out with you for a bit. So,
Yeah, no problem, man. You have a great night. Enjoy the pick. Hey, man.
all
He's
right.
going to be a good player for y'all for a long time.
Hopefully for a long time. That's the concern because running backs aren't always for a long time. So, but all right, man. Well, we'll talk again. Okay, Ashton?
Yep.
All right.
Catch you
Peace.
later, man. Adios. Wow, guys. Wow. I'm still kind of shocked that that Love went 3. That is a little nuts. Wow. They really did it. That is so interesting. I almost thought they would definitely trade back with someone, especially with Reese being there at 3. It just I guess they didn't get a good enough offer that they liked. I'm a little like out of words for how to react to that pick. Like I love Love. I think he's going to be really good. But man, they have so many holes in this early to take a running back. Going to have the most guaranteed money ever. And you just have a defense that was struggling. You have an O line that really needs a little bit of love. Eh, wow. Yeah. Deuce. It is in. So if I have to guess, the Titans, they do need edge. So yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure they could use a safety too. So like, I'm guessing Reese, most likely. Yeah, no one should be taking Maui Noah this early. I think Maui Noah is going to go more around 9 or 10. I'd be surprised. And then a tackle run is going to start. Well, I'm going to have Love in 2 fantasy dynasties, so I hope they fix the O-line. Their O-line wasn't the worst last year, though. Like, it wasn't the Raiders, right? Or the Jets. Their running backs just couldn't stay healthy for the Cardinals. Like, none of their running backs could. They did get man, poor Tyler Algier. To go to the Falcons and 1 year later to get a generational back drafted to the Falcons to go to the Cardinals only to have them draft a generational back to take the RB1 spot. I feel so bad. Yo, Zach. Hey, Zach, if you ever have a few seconds, you can always jump on and react to the Cardinals getting Jeremiah Love at 3 and not trading back. Uh, it was kind of awesome to have Jokomo on here to reacting to that live. That was kind of neat. Did they take Tate at 4? They did. Wow. Tate goes at 4 overall. That is way earlier than I expected. I mean, you got to get that young QB. You're supposed to be your franchise QB some weapons. And last year, they had a few flashes from DK and Io Manor, but they really needed more out of the passing game. And we kind of saw that against our game against the Titans. I mean, he had some really good throws that game. He was really kind of donning us up, and that line wasn't great. but he was doing his best to keep them in the game for like 2 or 3 quarters. It coulda it's one of those games where if we woulda made a bad mistake or 2, it coulda gone down to the wire, even though that team s has a severely worse roster, at least it did yesterday. Giants. I don't know, man. These teams have done some weird stuff so far, and that's the fun thing about draft. And why I personally think mock drafts are weird or kind of silly do because these teams they will go out of left field and do something completely counter to how you should really build the roster. Because some NFL owners don't care about winning; they care about selling tickets. They care more about getting butts and seats, even though if it means you're not winning more games than you're losing. And I'm not saying that's exactly what the Cardinals owner is doing, but it's just it doesn't make sense to get a running back at that much guaranteed money this early in a rebuild without a QB, without a line, and without a defense. So it teams will do weird stuff like that. Everyone was expecting the Titans take Love, and I do think the Titans would have probably taken Love over Tate. And the Giants were expecting Tate to be here. I would expect Tyson to go here unless if the Rams really want Tyson, you're going to have to trade the Giants for him, basically right here. I would be shocked if they don't go wide receiver. Ah, their D line is really good, so they're not going to go edge. Possibly Sony Styles. I could see that being kind of a sleeper. Their linebackers weren't the best. Yeah, pick is in, so Giants are making a pick roster. Let me look up their roster right now. Who do they have at linebacker? Zaire Barnes, Swayze Bozeman, Brian Burns, Carter, both of the edges. Tremaine Edmonds, he's solid. He's solid. Trace Ford, Cam Jones. I mean, you have Tremaine Edmonds and then a few other guys who haven't really done much up to now. Caleb Murphy hasn't been terrible. And then Thibodeau, which they're probably going to trade Thibodeau eventually. Interesting. So I would imagine probably Styles or Reese. Potentially outside chance Mount Noah, but again, it would be way too early. I doubt Bain, but if they are really dead set on trading Thibodeau, it could make sense to get Bain now and try to trade Thibodeau later in the draft and get like a late first, second. Yeah, I'm still like kind of recouping myself after that Love pick. Like, at least with the Titans taking Tate, that makes sense. Them getting Love or Tate makes perfect sense with where their team build is. And then Browns are after that. Browns need almost everything but really like tight end. They really need a wide receiver. So yeah, man. I think we could see Taysom and then probably Lemon go after him back to back. And if that happens, you almost have to trade or get Sadiq or trade back. I mean, I would be fine with getting Omar Cooper at 13 personally, but I know a lot of people aren't agreeing with that. Yeah, I don't know how long I'll like continue the stream after the Rams pick, unless if they trade down. Um, which that is looking more likely. The love at 3 really has thrown off this draft because uh it was almost it was more likely that it was going to be a defensive player there, and without it's causing like Tate to go early, and then if the Giants take Taysom and the pick is in, so they are making their pick. Like you could see Lemon go at Washington, and like 3 of the wide receivers that like no one expected a wide receiver to go until 7 or 8. Most mocks at least in it. Oh, Chiefs trade up. Yeah, I think the Chiefs are going Tyson. If or they're going for whatever wide receiver falls, right? Kind of has to be. Oh, well, no, they could be going defense. They're probably going to go Reese if Giants go Tyson. It'll tell us a lot about how they feel about Rice, Rashi Rice. That's the other thing. It's kind of hard to tell what these teams are going to do because you don't know their positions on their own roster. Like, are the Chiefs not worried about at all about like Rashi Rice and his situation and his mentality? I know he didn't get any charges or anything, but like, are you worried about the longevity of having him on your roster? Because if you are, then you're going to take a wide receiver here. If you're not, then you worry about defense, and that was an issue last year. Deuce, we already have a starting O line. All of our players were great. And I know some people will point out the right tackle playing the playoffs. I think there's a lot of reasons for that. And for most of the year, he played as a top 5, top 10 right tackle in the league. I don't think you give up on him that quickly. For tackles who, there's a good argument, most of these tackles are going to be guards anyways. They weren't like, especially this draft, there's not a lot of great right tackles. Mount Noah is probably the only one, and I don't think he's going to be there. Yep. Uh, uh, Arvel Reese, I think, is the pick if I'm getting it. Yeah, Arvel Reese. That makes sense. Or well, no, that means they're probably trading Thibodeau. Yeah. So that tells you a lot about Thibodeau. I thought there was a chance they could go wide receiver because especially after losing, they still have Neighbors, but they lost Wandale because Wandale, I think, went to the Titans. So now they're saying the matches for the Chiefs are Marinoa or D-Lane. Yeah, but the finish that thought on the O line, I just don't think there's a purpose of drafting a tackle to be your backup because he's not going to start over Alaric outside of if there's a health condition, and he's not going to start on the right side over Warren McClendon because he just has more snaps and he's played in the NFL and played at a high level, especially last year. And you want to draft that guy at 13 with other higher valued positions to be a backup for 2 or 3 years. So Chiefs have the pick in. Yeah, if the Rams want Tyson, They're gonna have to trade up to like 7 or 8. Let me see if there's any like updates on good old Twitter. Okay. I do know the pick, but I don't want to announce it early if people are watching TV. Yeah, I mean, it is looking like Bane is falling. But the good news for the Rams is you're looking at potentially like Sony Styles falling, Bane falling, Lemon Sadiq. Have they announced it yet? They have not announced it. Yeah, I don't want to ruin it for you guys if you're watching it live. Let me look and see who is coming up that could need a tight end. Washington could take a tight end. Saints could take a tight end. Browns don't need one. Giants. Giants just got the tight end out of Coastal Carolina from the Ravens. So they could, but I doubt it, especially after taking defense. The Dolphins could definitely take a tight end. And then Cowboys. No. Ferguson is getting old. He's getting up there. So they could take. So there's 3 or 4 teams. And they just announced Delane. It was Mansour Delane to the Chiefs. So it's not Styles. Teams that could use Delane, I would doubt the Browns because they got Schlesinger last year, and he was a big hit for him. You could say New York, Washington, Saints, Dolphins need linebackers. Really almost every team but the Browns. But even then, like, yeah, it makes sense that they go for a young cornerback. I don't know what they gave up to trade up. I haven't seen the reporting on that. Also, it is such a dub that the clock has been reduced. I think it feels so much better at 8 minutes versus 10. Because it does feel a little bit more action packed, doesn't it? and the Commanders are staying at 7 and making a pick. So the Commanders need running back. You could argue they need wide receiver. Really don't. They only have Scary Terry over there. Not a lot of depth behind them. So you could see a world where they take wide receiver. That defense needs a lot of work. So like taking Downs or Styles here or Bain would not be a bad decision by Washington. And that line was rough. Like this is where like Marinoa at 7, I I don't think that's a terrible pick. Who's NFL? Let me look. Who is their right tackle? Josh Connerly. I don't believe he played great, but we shall see. How are you guys feeling so far about how the draft has unfolded here? I'm a little bummed that they didn't trade up for Love, but I mean, who would have thought he would have gone at 3 so early? I know there were like rumors and stuff, but it was just hard to imagine that a team in that situation would take a running back that early. But I think he's the best player in this draft, and he's going to be good for him. The question is, can the environment be around him? Can it be elevated by him solely? And most of the time, it isn't. Like you just look at Saquon with the Giants. Hmm. Yeah, it's on. What's up? Okay. They're doing the Walter Panmina Award. Styles goes to Commanders. That he is a fantastic player. And I'm pretty sure they're still gonna have Wagner there. I think he's gonna play again. And Wagner is such a good linebacker to learn from, especially as a young linebacker. I think he really did help the development of Ernest Jones. So yeah, I mean Wagner with Styles is a freak. A part of me wanted him to fall, but that it does mean Tyson is a pick further down. That's the guy I want second most behind Love. And I've been going back and forth with Lemon on like his profile, his production, how good I think he'll be in the NFL. I think he'll be a good slot, but like, can he be elite top 10 level wide receiver? I don't know. It's harder to tell when you dig deeper into his tape. His route running is so good. His intangibles are just not as good, and he does play quicker than what his 40 shows on the field. So I just I like Tyson's upside more, especially if he stays healthy. And I think you can't ever like count on a team being, or a player being healthy or not injured. Like that's just random. It Health is most of the time just being unlucky or lucky. And Saints are making a pick. So yeah, it seems like the Rams are going to stay put, most likely. But we will see. Guys, it looks like Zach will be here in a few minutes for pick 13. Hopefully we make it. That would suck for them to trade back as soon as he gets online. Yeah, I mean, I would prefer staying put and not playing around, especially like if Omar Cooper is there. And I think most likely you're gonna lose Tyson and Lemon in the next 2 of 5 picks. I just don't see how they get past wide receiver needy teams like Cleveland and the Dolphins, right? Like that's instantly like Cleveland, you could see them taking defense more than the Dolphins. Oh, well, I mean, Cleveland had a better defense than Miami. After trading Waddle, like Miami has to take a wide receiver. You could make an argument. Yeah, I mean, wide receiver is the biggest hole in both of those rosters. And that's assuming Saints don't take a wide receiver. Oh, you spoiling it, Deuce? Is that what you're doing? Yeah, the Browns got a third round pick and 141 to move back 3 spots. That's not bad. Oh, you're saying you think the Saints take a wide receiver? It makes sense, especially like depending on how you want to structure the rosters or your salaries on your roster. It just Do you want to pay CB1 money at this point in time in your build, especially having to sign another contract for Mahomes? Or well, they already signed it. I think he's one of the ones that signed like the 8 or 10-year deal. Either way, they're already paying like a huge percentage of their cap to Mahomes. So it's just harder to pay those premium positions top-notch dollars when you're paying like QB1 money or top 5 QB money. Maybe it isn't top 5 anymore, but it's definitely probably top 10. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I might crash out if we take a lineman. I might crash out. I'm gonna be so furious. I would rather trade back, especially if Cooper Jr. is there and Sadiq. It's just like it kinda doesn't make any sense to me. Or Ty Simpson. If Ty Simpson, I'm gonna freak out. I'm gonna freak out if we get Ty Simpson at 13. It'd be ridiculous. Because if you look into this tackle class, it is just guys who are gonna be solid tackles. None of them look like they're gonna be generational guys. Like, it's not terrible. I I won't be actively angry as if we're getting a bad player. It won't be like it'll be similar to the 2-2 pick. I am not upset at the fact that they pick a certain player. Like, I wasn't upset at selection of Tutu himself, and he played decent. It was just more like you needed a center more. We need a wide receiver more. We need a young tight end more. Both of our tight ends are decently old that are starting outside of Ferguson. Okay, who the Saints got? There goes Tyson. So it is wide receiver. If you're looking at the top 3 guys, it's lemon or bust. I like Omar Cooper at 13. Most people will not agree with that. I'll be interested to see what the Rams do. So you're probably looking at Lemon or Sadiq if you're talking about the fan favorites. Deuce, I'm not gonna lie, I actually kinda agree with you. Um, I think Tutu has been very underrated and underutilized. He is not a perfect wide receiver by any means, but he is he's done good in the opportunities he's gotten, and, like, when he does run routes, he runs them well, he gets open, he's good against man, he struggles against zone somewhat, but, you know, I think he's solid. And I think he's gonna do good with the Dolphins, and I think Malik Willis is a little underrated too. Now that line is rough, and that defense is rough, and they're gonna be in games where it's gonna be a lot of garbage time stuff. Browns making the pick. Um, yeah, I would imagine it's like probably Lemon, either that or could be Downs or Bain. Man, imagine Bane with Myles Garrett. That would be nasty, nasty. I mean, the Browns D line was really good against the run. They weren't the best at pass rushing, but like it's kind of similar with the Rams or Aaron Donald for a lot of the time. It's like they didn't really focus on drafting pass rush help because he was so good and he was such a focal point. It was more like you get role players that good at like containing the edge, stopping the run, and you hope that you have enough attention elsewhere. Aaron Donald can do his thing. Myles Garrett can do his thing. Yeah, Browns got a third and a fifth from a trade back. That's not bad. Yeah, so you're looking at a trade up here would probably cost a second. No, you could trade a third now. Fano over Noah. Whoa, that is a surprise.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, Zach.
What's up?
Have you enjoyed the stream so far? I know you were cutting grass and doing duties and stuff.
I am. Yeah. I had kids soccer sports and everything going on. Plus, I had to finish mowing the grass before it got dark. But I wanted to make sure I jumped on before the Rams get to pick at 13. Yeah.
What's your reaction so far? This has been kind of like an interesting draft with the Cardinals going 3, with Jeremiah Love kind of throwing off the rest of the board. And we have kind of seen Tate go extra early, and then Tyson just went. So
Yeah, no, I've been in and out of the draft. I've been listening. I've been keeping your stream up, since it started, basically. But the biggest surprise, I think, was the Cardinals getting Love. You know, when you're a team who's still trying to figure out who they are, and kind of going all in uh, with a pretty elite running back, it just shows something. I think you guys even mentioned it, like the Saquon Barkley when he was playing, with the Giants. It just feels something similar to that, where will they actually
yeah,
get to utilize him fully, or is this just going to be a stint in his resume?
yeah. Are you also shocked that like Fano goes before Marinoa? That's kind of interesting that they pass on Noah.
Yeah, I mean, I agreed with kind of everything that you were saying about that during the
Hmm.
stream. Giants just
And the
picked.
Giants, yeah, Giants just picked at 10. Okay, the tackle run is happening. So this puts Miami in an interesting spot. So Freeling is now gonna be really desirable here at 11 and 12. So Miami could trade back, especially if they're looking at a wide receiver. Just given the fact that you could get a team to try to bite and move up to get Freeling, because Freeling is the last like top tier tackle that you could see go in the first round.
Yeah.
And this run on tackles is kind of interesting.
Oh,
It
trade,
happening this early.
trade.
Okay,
Dolphins are
who is it?
trading. They're trading their pick. Trades it to Dallas. Now they just
What?
jumped up one.
Oh, they were worried about the Rams jumping.
Wow. A Dallas
So
pick is
who?
in. So they're going to get Sadiq or Lemon.
Has to. It has
And it
to.
has to be one of those two, right?
Yeah. If I think it has to be the Cowboys worried that the Rams are going to jump them. We could lose because Ferguson is old.
Oh, Miami gave up their pick, so they get back-to-back picks. They're taking 11
What?
and 12. They're taking 11 and 12.
Wait, it's still showing Miami on 12 for me.
Oh, I don't know. I'm watching ESPN and I see 11 is Dallas and 12 is
I think
Dallas.
that's a glitch.
Okay.
I don't think
Okay.
that's right.
This is ABC's Disney on the Disney Plus. Oh no, I see it. Okay, they did change it finally on my screen.
Yeah. I was like, that's wild if Dallas did that.
I was like, what is happening? They're gonna take both picks. They're just gonna. Yeah, that's
You would
crazy.
imagine Dallas is. It wouldn't make sense if they trade up for Bain or something unless they were worried Miami was going to take a defensive player, right? If you're moving up one spot, you're moving up one spot because you think the Rams are going to get that player and jump you for that player. That's the only reason.
I do remember us during. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. I was just going to say, unless if they had intel, other team was trying to jump and get a player that they were specifically.
Yeah, going back to Francis Magoa. We talked about him, I believe, when we did our draft as a potential if the Rams went offensive line that he would have been a potential pickup.
Yeah, I don't think there's now a tackle that you would be comfortable, especially because we need more of a right tackle than left. And Mount Noah was the only primarily right tackle this early in the draft that you could take. Freeling is more of a left tackle. And again, unless if you have injury concerns with Alaric Jackson, which I don't think they do given the contract they gave him, I just don't see that we're going to go left tackle, Zach. I would be flabbergasted.
Yeah. All right. So the Cowboys pick is in. See who comes out of this. This is what the Giants done under John Harbaugh. They got a great defender. They got an offensive lineman, and now. Oh, the pick is in, but I think we're going to commercial break before that happens. But
yeah. So like, okay, who are we looking at pick 13 potentially? We are looking because what? Pick 11, 2 more picks. We're looking at one of either Caleb Downs, elite safety, Ruben Bain, elite edge, Lemon, Sadiq, or Freeling. So left tackle, a tight end, a wide receiver, edge, and Downs. Or like if Jeremiah McCoy, oh my gosh. So like corner is an option there. It's a little early, I think, to take McCoy, but if you want to like sew up the secondary, that's an option.
I don't know. I still feel at some point you got to stay offensive. You got to give offensive weapons a more of a look because that's what we need. We need someone who's able to counterbalance Puka Nacua and even Devontae Adams.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I like Jordan Whittington, as much as I like Xavier Smith, I feel like we still don't have another key receiver. You go back several years to our Super Bowl run, and while we didn't get to actually have Bobby Trees, Cooper Kupp, and OBJ on the field at the same time, like what a dream team that would have been to see, all three of those players playing at once. That's something that I think that we can get if we can get an elite uh, receiver to help Puka and Devontae, especially since they weren't all in at the same time. I mean, it was very rare that you had Devontae Adams and Puka Nakua in at the same time
Yeah.
this past
I
season.
mean,
I
Sadiq
know
could be
that's
your
because we went
slot
tight end
wide.
heavy, but still.
I mean, Sadiq could be your slot wide receiver, practically.
Yeah,
He could be.
sure. And that would be great. Again, making that more diverse tight end position, I think would be
So,
very helpful. And again, like you said, we love our tight ends, but we also
mhm,
we're getting to the point. I love Higby, but he's getting to that point where it's
older, yeah.
he's getting older.
So, what would you make if they went Bane? If Bane falls to them at 13, for arguably the best pass rusher in this draft, do you repeat history where like you kind of get Verse falling to your laps, you get Aaron Donald falling to your laps, and you're like, you can't have enough good pass rush, right? I mean, he is arguably the best pass rusher in this draft.
For sure. I mean, it's just going to go to is, Aaron Donald came in, he was lights out. Is that going to take over Byron Young's position when he was playing outstanding last year? Could
I
he
mean,
outshine Verse?
are you gonna repay? Are you gonna pay Byron Young contractually, especially being as old as he is? Like you have to also remember, people don't realize he's 28 years old. Byron Young is
Hmm.
old. He came in at like 23.
So the
So
Dolphins got 12, 177, and 180 for the
yeah, 2/5 basically moved back a spot.
and they picked Caleb Downs. Sorry,
Interesting.
I probably should. I don't know if I should have spoiled that. If you're behind on me a little bit.
No, I was around where you were. Yeah, interesting. So Zach, we are gonna have either Lemon or Sadiq on the clock.
Yeah, but do you think the Cowboys played well? Do you think that we were actually going to pick up Caleb Downs?
No, no, it was someone else. Like it could have been someone in the 15s, and they're like,
Sure.
the Dolphins are like, hey, we're getting calls from
Yeah.
people looking at Downs. Do
Yeah.
you want like, do you want to trade up? And that happens a lot in the draft.
Right.
Most of the time, it doesn't happen in the first round, but this
It's
was going to be
interesting they
interesting,
only
right?
got. Yeah. I mean, very interesting.
I almost have to imagine Lemon's going to go here at the Dolphins. Either that or they go Bane.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, Dolphins
For
and the
sure.
Rams, Deuce. Dolphins and the Rams. It's so exciting, man. Zach,
All
we're
right.
making a pick in the first round.
Well, that's assuming we stay at 13.
Don't put that out in the ether, Zach.
It might be in the ether. The Rams might be like, ooh. So things might fall better into our lap than it did last year with Atlanta trading away their future first round pick.
Dude, Bane being there. Oh,
It'd be crazy. I mean, I'm on my phone obviously, so I don't have all of my usual stuff in front of me. So whatever's on your screen and whatever's on the CSPN screen is all that I got at the moment. And so
I got you.
be very excited to see what the Rams do for sure.
Yeah, the respond to you, Deuce. I'm probably gonna end the stream after we talk about it for like 10-15 minutes if we make a pick. If we make a trade back, then I'll stay on until they make that pick, unless if it's out of the first, which I very much hardly imagine, unless if we're getting a future 27th first.
Mm-hmm.
Which would you be against that, Zach? Moving down to the second for like a future first, given how strong next year's draft is?
I mean, here's the thing: you still have Lemon on the board, and you still have Sadiq on the board. And so, if either one of
You
those
do?
are your, if one of those two or both of them would have been gone at this point, and that's what the Rams were going to do, it would make sense to go back. But when you still have those two caliber players on there who could really change that offense to even be better than
Mhm.
what it is, um, I would probably stay at 13. But I get what you're saying. It makes a lot of sense in the Rams' future planning. But when you want to be all in now, you know. But again, the Rams have been successful in the later rounds. So if you can get a stockpile of you go to second and get two more picks out of it, maybe that's something that you really look at.
Hey, would you, Zach, if the Rams go Ty Simpson, how would you feel?
I feel
It's
at that
really
point
early. It's
it's
really
really
early for
early,
Ty Simpson.
and it's again that says a couple of things. One, it says that you have confidence in your current offense. You have confidence in your tight end room. You have confidence in your wide receiver room. You have confidence in every aspect of your offense that you can take, your future quarterback at here. Um, so that does say a lot.
Okay,
I just,
Dolphins pick is being announced.
but you have to also at the same time, there has to be conversations with Stafford. I mean, they're still trying to figure out contract negotiations for future, and we don't know what that will mean.
Dolphins went D tackle. Oh,
Interesting.
tackle. Sorry, offensive tackle. I thought it was a D. I'm blind. Um,
O's and D's sometimes
so
look very similar depending on the font they use.
yeah. So Zach, the question to you is: now we're in a position where if you want to get one of the three of Bain, Lemon, or Sadiq, you could trade back 3 spots and get one of those guys and potentially get maybe a third, maybe a fourth. Would you want a third or a fourth to trade back and get either two electric offensive weapons
Yeah,
or
I mean, if you
the
still
top
have
third?
three people, if you still have two or three people in your top wish board, and you feel like who's after Baltimore? What is the lineup currently? Do you have that up?
Yeah. So the lineup after Baltimore would be the Bucks and the Jets.
The Bucks and the Jets. Okay, and that the
Yeah.
Jets. That's their second pick that they got from the Bengals, right?
In no,
Um,
Indiana, the Colts.
the Jets. I thought the Jets got it from the Bengals because they gave the Bengals
No,
their.
the Giants got a pick from the Bengals.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Wrong New York team.
Yeah, I know. Confusing it.
Yeah,
All can
they
be.
already got the Jets got an edge already, so they wouldn't go Bane.
All right, so we are at it. I'm trying to also keep up with Twitter on my phone too, to see if anything pops up.
Oh, you're gonna ruin it. And we did pick, so we are picking at 13.
Oh,
The pick is in, Zach.
the pick
The
is in.
the
I see
pick
what it is.
in. Oh, you see what it is? Okay, I
I
think
know what it is.
The Illuminati was trying to stop you with
I
your
know what it is.
cheating feed. I'm gonna wait
All
until
right. Who do you think?
the TV.
Who do you think? Who do you think?
I think they go Sadiq. I think they go
Do
Sadiq over
you?
Lemon.
It is very interesting.
I would prefer Omar Cooper personally. That's who I want at 13 right now. But I'm gonna be happy if it's Lemon or Sadiq. I thought Lemon would be gone by now. So
Yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting.
Please don't be Ty Simpson. Please don't be Ty Simpson. I'm gonna
You're gonna
crash
be waiting a
out.
while because we're at commercial break and it's
Yeah,
already on
yeah,
Twitter.
yeah.
It's already
I'm
blown
waiting a
up.
while. I'm letting. I want a natural reaction on here.
Do
Okay,
do
I'm
do.
trying.
For
I'm
anyone
trying not
joining
to
our
look.
stream, Ashton does not know who the Rams have picked.
I am trying not to look at chat.
He wants
Okay, they're looking at Ty Simpson. Please don't do that.
it's
And they're
interesting.
actively talking about the Rams selecting a second quarterback. Okay, let's go to the commercial.
We're going to commercial. Do you have an ad for us?
Yeah. They have an ad right now going
Well,
on.
that's what I'm saying. I said, do we have an ad? Do you have an ad that we could throw in here?
Oh,
Who's paying? Who's paying for this
we,
podcast?
technically both of us. So like, if you want to advertise us, go ahead while I sit here and try not to look at chat because I know you guys are a bunch of spoilers.
It's fine. The Rams will be fine.
I don't like the tone. That sounds like a tone of a team that just took a quarterback. I hope that isn't the case, Zach. We'll see though.
I'm giving you false sense of all sides.
Doom?
It could be really good. It's going to be great.
Okay.
It's going to be great.
Okay. I like good. I love good, Zach.
It's
Whoever
gonna
they take,
it's gonna be great.
I will say this: whoever they take, no matter what round it is or who it is, what I think about them before the draft, I want them to succeed. I want to be wrong about these players being bad or good, guys.
I think their
Look,
name is going to look really good on the back of a New Jersey.
that's most names. Most
Yep.
names look good on back of jerseys.
There's some that I probably wouldn't care for, but
Okay.
but this is a good. I mean, you could rep it around.
They're really milking this, Zach. All the other picks went quick. All the other picks. I think the tight ends one was also long, but
It's.
oh my
I mean,
gosh.
like I kind of mentioned this before. This pick does kind of talk to you about what the Rams are thinking and what they anticipate this year to look like. And I trying to milk the clock as best as I can.
Don't spoil it. I'm like sitting here.
Everybody in the Rams universe knows except for Ashton right now. So this is just
Apparently, because you guys love to be spoiled on Twitter, and I'm sure Rams Twitter is like going
Well,
nuts
what the
right
heck?
now.
We all know, and yet they can't say it on the TV. Like, come on now, figure this stuff out.
I am trying to preserve the authenticity of this.
I bet you everybody in Pittsburgh knows who's attending live has their phone out and they know who the Rams picked.
I just feel like at that point you got to stay off your phone and enjoy being there and like enjoy hearing the picks naturally.
Yeah, but when you're waiting 20 minutes in between picks, what else you got to do? I don't really think there's a whole lot going on except for the giant side the pick is in. At least they updated the logo.
Who did we trade back for? Who did we trade back for? And guys, we'll have plenty of logo and like branding conversation on next pod. Plenty. But they keep on pivoting Ty Simpson. Please stop.
All right, the pick is in. We getting there? Is this the one that who is doing this pick? I can't remember.
Tavon Austin.
Oh, that's right. That's what I thought. Maybe he needed to use the bathroom. Oh, nope, apparently not. Maybe he's doing the second pick. Does Goodell do all the first ones? That's their prayer symbol.
The Los Angeles Rams select Ty Simpson.
There you go. There you go. Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson is the Rams' backup quarterback and potential future starter for the Los Angeles Rams. Ashton, your 10-second reaction, post reaction. I've had time to kind of take it and understand it, but I think that he just disappeared from the feed. In all reality, I think Ty Simpson is a great quarterback, and I think he's someone who can sit behind Stafford. I think less need. They have an exit strategy. I believe that they probably have talked to Stafford about an exit strategy, and this seems to make sense if you want to build your future in, only being one of the few good quarterbacks from this draft class. You might want to take it when it comes to you. Ashton, I know you're shocked and in silence, but what are your thoughts? While I mute myself for just a second.
Dude, I don't think this is guys, I just don't think this is the type of pick you should make if you're trying to win a Super Bowl. I'm going to be honest. It is a very luxury pick, and I just don't. I don't like it at all. Given with the people on the board, you could have traded back and gotten at least picks back and still get Ty Simpson. Like, the Ravens aren't going to get Ty Simpson. Tampa Bay is not going to get Ty Simpson. You could argue with the Jets potentially going Ty Simpson, but I don't think he was going to go that early to the Jets. I don't like this pick at all, because especially given with the QBs in the draft next year. That's just my personal take. I'm not the biggest fan of Ty Simpson to start out with. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope he ends up being the heir apparent. He better be, given this draft capital. They better think he is not only gonna be like average quarterback in the NFL. They better believe he is going to be elite and a top 5 QB after starting behind Matthew Stafford. They have to.
So it looks like that just came in from Adam Schefter. The Rams called their veteran quarterback Stafford today to inform him they had planned to select Ty Simpson.
That is crazy that they did not talk to him about this beforehand.
Well, again, that doesn't mean anything that they didn't have the conversation ahead of time. But I believe that they, today was the day that they're like, we've kind of nailed this thing down. This is our plan, and went with it. So we'll have to see what that post reaction looks like.
Dude, we need a wide receiver. We need a wide receiver, and I hope we trade up into the first to get Omar Cooper. How's Rams? Can you tell me how Rams Twitter has been reacting to this? Is it as bad as me?
Give me a second, because I think if I leave the feed, I'm trying to, like I said, I'm doing this all from my phone. Give me 1 second. I will.
I got you. I can look. Hey, Deuce is already out. Hey, Andy, how are you doing? I don't know if you're still watching.
I got some people saying not good. People that was our post when I asked about how we feeling about Ty Simpson. So Rams officially posting. Welcome to the neighborhood, Ty Simpson. Sean McVay actually told Matthew Stafford they have their decision and made it clear it's for whoever, it's whenever Stafford decides to move on. Seems pretty obvious. All right, Baltimore is in and they are picking.
Dude, I can't believe we passed on Lemon and Sadiq for Ty Simpson. And dude, like when I was watching Ty Simpson, he has a good deep ball, a decent like
They went guard.
arm strength. I don't think his accuracy is that great. And plus, like he's more mobile than people give him credit. He's definitely gonna be more mobile than anything we've had than like Jared Goff and Stafford. But dude,
I mean, here's the thing: the Rams have been Let's take this going out. When you look at the Rams and what they've had success over the years, and especially under Sean McVay, they have never had a draft pick receiver that has done anything outside of you know in the first or second round. You have people like Cooper Kupp. You have Puka Nacua. We have players that we have drafted later in the rounds that have been more productive than any of the other opportunities that we've had in the past. And I think that the Rams they have to have that into consideration. They have to know that they could pick in the second or third round with another weapon and be just as efficient.
You think they try to trade up?
They probably. I mean, again, everything's on the table. They wanted a quarterback for the future. They have a quarterback for the future, and now they need to trade up and they can now give up their first round pick next year to get back into the mix again and to get another good player if that's how we want to go. Adam Schefter, the Rams have a Super Bowl aspirations in 2026 with the game set to be played in SoFi Stadium. But there's also an eye on the future, and Ty Simpson is the QB they've identified as the eventual successor to Matthew Stafford.
Dude, that is crazy. To pick a QB to sit behind for 2 or 3 years at pick 13. That is crazy. It made sense with Love and like
unless the Rams know that they have a shorter window, and maybe he sits behind them for 2 years, or maybe if the Rams are Super Bowl champs this year, Stafford's gone, 100%, and then the Rams are kind of SOL. And so, why wouldn't you have someone who sits behind Matthew Stafford?
Dude,
it makes sense.
I just prefer Drew Aller in the second more than I do. Like, I would have been disappointed with going Ty Simpson over Drew Aller in the second. That's how. And like I know Andy my brother-in-law is in the chat, and he's right. We could have had Puka, Adams, and Lemon. Could have had that. Could have had Puka, Adams, Sadiq, and Ferguson for this year. I hope I'm wrong, guys. I really hope Simpson comes out after a year and is a top 5 QB in this league, can run McVay's system, and is the guy who comes out. I just think he's going to be more like J. McCarthy than anything else.
Here's the thing. There's a lot of people talking crap. And again, we're doing this podcast. We're playing a little devil's advocate on each other a little bit. Do I think it's the greatest pick in the world? No, but I can see where the Rams are coming from. And in an era where this is something that we've always said, we've always put our trust in Les Need, and we've put our trust in Sean McVay. They are the masterminds behind it. They are the ones who brought us to 2 Super Bowls. They gave us a Super Bowl champion, multiple playoff berths. The attempt the last 2 years, we should have been able to get to the NFC Championship and to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We fell short. And I really think that we have to think about that
But
in some ways, that they know what they're doing. And so I'm seeing things real quick. I'll finish my thought. I see things that this is the worst pick in the Sean McVay Les Snead era, and that could be. We will never know until 3 to 5 years from now. But this is the opportunity for Sean McVay to decide his quarterback if he made that decision.
okay, and he'll live with that decision. But I think my kind of point here, Zach, is yeah, we fell short both of those years, and we had opportunities in both those years to be aggressive and get one more piece, and they chose not to, and they did it again this year. So I better not see us fall short by one drive because our wide receiver 3 can't get open against man. I better not see when you had an
But you're
opportunity to get Lemon or Sadiq, our tight ends barely be used in the second half of the year, and we lose the 1 seed because of a close shootout.
Yeah, but then you look at the players of the past, and you look at Puka Nakua, you look at Cooper Cup, and you tell me you had players coming in here saying these two players are going to be stars. They're going to be Triple Crown winning Super Bowl champions. You're going to have someone, drafted super late, and they're going to start and become, the top receiving, top in receiving and top in receptions. You can't predict that. And so, I can't say that this is the worst pick because we won't know the future. The worst, you got to decide that in the future.
Well,
It doesn't matter now.
I'm not saying that now. I'm not
Right,
taking a
right.
position as the worst pick. I'm just more saying I I think given where you want this team to be and the options you had, we had those excuses and you had to take those players the way they did because they traded away their first round picks because of the
Mhm.
proven players they got. This is the first time where they have made this type of luxury pick in the early first. It isn't Tutu Atwell in the later half of the second round, where I can kind of see, like, oh, you want to get cute, you want to do something that's a little bit more like, let's try to get a luxury. I get that in the second and third round, especially late second and third round. Early in the first, you have proven pretty much blue chip NFL talent sitting there looking you in the eyes, and you choose to go for a QB that's not going to start for 2 or 3 years when every other team has done that in the latter half of the first round. Love latter half of the first round. Even you look at Lamar Jackson. He was later in the first round. Jackson Dart later in the later in the first round. This it's such a luxury pick, and I just think it's too early. I said the same thing with like going 2-2 over the center in that draft.
Right.
I didn't agree given the needs and what you wanted to do. And I don't want to hear a single excuse if we fall short next year, especially if it's on offense. That offense better score every drive of that championship game, Zach. Every drive. They better get points because I don't want to hear an excuse or have this roster personnel wise fall short because they had a real opportunity to add at every level of this offense and they went backup quarterback and they went future quarterback.
Which is, again, coming from it, is you need to have a succession plan. You've probably already known what Stafford's looking at. Honestly, I really don't think Stafford's going to stick around after this year. Whatever talks happen, I think he could. Not, and I would want him to stay.
So the only thing I would respond to Andy here is you can make an argument the Jets were definitely looking at him. You could make an argument Minnesota could have been like to duel with Murray. if you're not completely 100% with Murray and JJ McCarthy there, like you could kind of make an argument. Steelers at pick 21 is a other real option, and the Browns at pick 24. So like there are 3 or 4 teams where I think we could have definitely traded back and gone assets and still got him. So I don't know what kind of. I think the Jets were probably their main concern why they couldn't trade back, if I'm being honest. If they didn't have that pick 16, is probably why they didn't trade back. It is just nuts. I can't believe we went Ty Simpson. What would you put it, Zach, that they're going to trade up into the first round? I almost feel like it's more likely after that pick. It's probably going to be the latter half of the first round, though.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I mean, I don't think they're going to come up any higher. You know, it would definitely be towards the later half of the first round if that's where or the later end of the first round. We'll see what the Jets pick here. Maybe it's a pick to kind of see where they were at. Huge in his development as well. He not had his name called. The New York Jets are back on the clock. They took a guy that many believe is the best defender.
All right, you mind covering for me while I go use the bathroom real quick?
Yeah. Yep. All right, Jets are up. I don't know how much longer that we will chat about all this, but we'll kind of keep it posted, kind of keep giving you kind of our live reaction, plus giving you a little bit of what Rams Twitter is also going about. Most people seem to not like the pick. So the Jets went tight end, so they picked up Kenyon City. So very interesting to see how that kind of plays out for them. But, you know, someone who the Rams really thought would be someone that they would go for, kind of an all-out weapon, can play the tight end position, can play the wide receiver position, and he has now fallen to the Jets. So congrats to Sadiq on that. We will continue to keep moving. Again, Ty Simpson's going to be it's going to be very polarizing. Obviously, the Rams don't need a quarterback right now. But how many times over the last couple of years have we been anticipating Stafford's departure and planning for his future anyways? So, you know, people wanted Archie Manning and people, you know, there's been X, Y, and Z going on. But it all comes down to what the Rams believe that they needed. And this is what they wanted. Jets just picked Sadiq. So
the Jags?
The Jets.
The Jets.
The Jets just picked up Kenyon Sadiq. So very interesting to see what happened there. Lions are up and their pick is in.
Big implications for fantasy. Here's a real quick question for you, Zach, fantasy-wise. Do you think this means like people should move up their fantasy like dynasty boards? Ty Simpson? Do you think that gives him more value?
Not necessarily, because again, we don't know what Stafford's. I mean, he could play next year and he could play 2 years from now. You know, I think Stafford's window is tightening very quickly. And again, you know, if the Rams win a Super Bowl, I think that, you know, Stafford leaves, even if they're close. I don't know. I feel like every year we're playing this chicken and egg game of is he staying, is he going? And, you know, last year felt really good that, you know, his family was coming to every single game, whether that was, you know, literally every game outside. I think his kids didn't go to 1, maybe 2 games, but Kelly Stafford was there. They went to London, all these things. And so I really think the Rams are trying to figure out their future, and they don't want to wait next year. You know, if you're pick 32 next year, you're not going to get a quarterback.
So I'm going to just put something out there crazy. Do you think there's a chance they could trade Stafford?
No. No.
You think that's completely out of the table?
Correct. I don't know why you would do that. It doesn't make sense.
Why would you draft a QB at 13? At
Because they don't.
13,
They want to win now.
that's
And when
not winning
Stafford
now.
depart, but here's just think of what I just said. You lose now, or if you pick him now, you have your future quarterback. But if Stafford is done after this year, now you have to start over with someone fresh, and they could not be behind Stafford for at least a year, if not 2 years.
I always thought he was going to play 2 or 3 years at minimum.
Sure,
We
but you
said that
look
in the
at
last
successful. Yeah, but a lot of times, a lot of the successful quarterbacks that have come out have played behind. You look at the Green Bay era when you had Brett Favre, and you go through all of their quarterbacks, and they've sat behind for several years until they were able to take over the reins, and then they themselves were successful. A lot of times when you put these rookies in, there are exceptions, obviously, but when you put rookies in, they tend to flail, and then they're gone after year 2 or 3, and they're either playing a backup position or they've left the NFL entirely because they can't get a job. And
Yeah, but
that's my only thing.
Can you not draft a rookie next year in a QB heavy rich
At pick
draft?
32,
Even at pick 32, you're gonna have 4 or 5 QBs next year, and one of them is gonna be like the Dart draft almost. You're gonna have someone like Dart fall like that. You draft him, and you just sign a other vet if Stafford retires, and you have him sit behind that vet, kind of like Jacoby Brissett. A similar situation.
I don't think
Or
the
a
Rams
Kirk
want to do
Cousins
that,
next
though. I
year.
don't think McVay wants to do that. I think McVay he doesn't want to sit behind another quarter. If he wanted a veteran quarterback, that's the aspect that he would go. He either wants a rookie or he wants a veteran. He doesn't believe he can get a veteran, so let's pick a rookie now. Just believe this is like the Rams didn't have a first round pick, and we just got, we've been so many years of not having a first round pick, and we care this much about it. We still have Puka, we still have Devontae Adams. The Rams still can make moves in this offseason to bring in somebody else.
We could have had more.
There are things there.
We could have had more. I mean,
you could have had Lemon. You could have had Sadiq. Sadiq would have been I think even almost the Ty Simpson level of luxury pick, because they already have so many freaking tight ends, and they just spent capital to get Ferguson last year.
But to be fair, they're older tight ends. Both of them are going to be up for contract next year. Like Sadiq would have made more sense long term
or they can get a tight end next year with their 32nd pick in the NFL in the first round.
I just think, guys, like there's just so many ways that this could have been done in a different order. But you may be right, Zach. It does give the benefit. You get time behind a starter. You get to grow and see what works, what doesn't work for him, and tailor the future roster around Simpson. That's besides my personal opinion about Simpson as the prospect going into this. If he was ever going to work out, he was going to need a year to sit. Because he does have a few things.
So Jordan Rodriguez just said Rams head coach always has a big say over the first pick of the team make every year. Just throwing that nugget out there. Another offensive tackle gone.
At this point, I hope they trade a first round pick to get up into the first round of 27.
Oh. We can now buy a Ty Simpson jersey at ramfanshop.com, but I can't get a custom jersey.
It's gonna be my favorite jersey, Zach.
You pre-ordering it right now?
Yeah. I mean, Zach, I hope I'm wrong. I really hope that he's a top 5 QB. He's amazing, and we're great for the future of the roster.
Yeah, I mean, it's you can we can nick this apart. I mean, it's there could be good things about it, there could be bad things about it. We'll know in a few years how this actually
Yeah.
plays out, and we can refer it then. But it's just interesting, and I'm excited to see what the Rams have to say about this. They'll have their post draft kind of meeting, and we'll get to kind of talk about that a little bit. I don't know when they plan on doing that. I guess I should
Man,
have YouTube up
the tackles are
just in
really going
case.
heavy in the mid-teens. Yeah, I do agree with what Andy said earlier. We could have definitely traded back. I don't think there was a lot of a threat, especially over
Unless nobody
the
wanted us to trade, like they didn't want to trade with us. It's always a possibility. I mean,
this is
throwing out
crazy, man.
hypotheticals. Throwing out hypotheticals.
Let me, Zach, who do you think the fan base is going to have bigger crash out over? Ty Simpson or when we did pick the Georgia quarterback in the third round?
Oh, I don't know. I think that was
Stetson Bennett.
Yeah,
Do
I
you
don't. I
think
did
this is
not
going to
like
be
that
worse?
pick. I think fan base thinks it's worse because it's a first round pick. Kind of going what you were saying. It's a first round pick. You're trying to play to win now. You need offensive weapons. You thought you were going to go with a receiver, and you ended up going with a backup quarterback, which is again, I think that there are pros and cons to it. But when you're in the mindset of you want to win now, you need more offensive weapons. But Sean McVay and Les Snead have a plan. I can guarantee you that they came into this knowing they wanted Ty Simpson, and they have a plan with either with what they currently have or with the draft pick, you name it. I mean, you go back and look. Hold on, I want to bring up our friend Blaine had a
I
post
mean,
today
let
that I
me.
want to bring up.
l- Green Bay
Let's look.
traded up from Dallas.
Let's look at the
Our
picks that
Eagles
the Rams
traded up.
had in 2021. The Rams draft picks were Tutu Atwell, Ernest Jones, Bobby Brown, Robert Rochelle, Jacob Harris, Ernest Brown the fourth, Jake Funk, remember Jake Funk, Ben Skoranek, and Chris Garrett. That was our 2021 draft class that we so and we went to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl.
Eh,
So the draft class, and his point was the draft class doesn't always mean a lot for the Super Bowl time. Your core players and what you have now, and the people that they brought in with McDuffie and things like that that they've made already this season, they're trying to give Stafford as much as possible to win now. They don't want. They don't. I don't think they're coming into this like, you know, we don't want Stafford to win. They want to win now with Stafford, but they also want to keep their future alive with Ty Simpson.
So there has been rumors of George Pickens being available after signing his franchise tag, potentially getting traded by the Cowboys. So
Mm-hmm.
you could be looking at an option, Zach, where they trade for a youngish wide receiver that's on the block using the future first. And
Mm-hmm.
instead of, like, if you look at it from a team building perspective, let's say you're assuming you're a late first round pick, right, next year, and you're not going to get a premium quarterback. You get the quarterback you love this draft. You trade your future first for a wide receiver that is young, but you know can play in the NFL, like a George Pickens, a Nico Collins, and you get him and them on a somewhat like reasonable deal, or like a AJ Brown, right? And you add them to this offense. Do you think that would be reasonable? Like, I would say if they do that, I would have a lot better thoughts about this pick. I would
Interesting.
feel
So
a lot better.
I'm kind of been listening. I was listening to a thing by Ian Rappaport, basically saying that Les Need was one of the voices to the Simpson family about him entering the draft this year, saying that he could be a first round pick or first round pick. Yeah.
Whether or not he should enter the draft or stay in school, they consulted among other people. Rams GM Les Need.
Oh,
A first rounder.
oh,
Now actually has
oh, man. I
So
really hope he wins us 4 or 5 Super Bowls. I really do. I want to look back at this and like laugh at my reaction. I really do. Please don't be JJ McCarthy. Please don't be JJ McCarthy.
there was a thought.
Dude,
I'm
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm trying to
After
go through.
this,
If I don't respond, it's because I'm trying to go through Rams Twitter and kind of get the reactions from people.
Zach, real quickly, retroactively, do you think this confirms that they were going to take Dart last year in the first round if the Giants
No,
don't trade up for him? You got to
Possibly,
think about
but
it. You got to think about it.
it's possible. I kind of
Thielen
again
goes
going
at
with
19.
our buddy Blaine. He kind of puts out that the Rams don't make this pick if Matthew Stafford isn't okay with it. Do you agree? Disagree?
Dude, they were shopping Matthew Stafford like a year ago. I
don't necessarily know. I think he was also being courted. I don't necessarily believe that it was a one-sided rule. Hey, but Lemon is still on the board. We're at almost pick 20, and Lemon is still there.
Well, I do feel like that means Omar Cooper is going to be there in the latter half of the first round. I was planning on like getting off the stream after the Rams pick, but I'm going to be honest, Zach, I think they make a other selection in the first round. I would be kind of surprised if they don't trade up.
Yeah, I mean that would make the most sense. Again, you're playing to win now, and yes, you're playing to win now, and also planning for your future. You got your quarterback. Now let's trade your first round pick from 2027 and jump up here and get another offensive weapon for Matthew Stafford and for Tyson Simpson, because Tyson Simpson and whoever they get are going to get first reps together for a portion of this offseason before they enter the fold with Stafford.
Casey Constantian is also going to be there later with how the board. I'm really surprised how heavy the tackles have been taken this early.
If it says anything to you, John Gruden love Ty Simpson to the Rams.
I don't care about John Gruden, to be honest.
Does that help you with?
No, it doesn't. I don't. Oh my gosh.
The last time that the Rams have used a first round pick on an offensive person was Jared Goff. Oh, Lemon's gone.
Who would he go to?
The Eagles.
Dude, Howie Roseman is the luckiest GM alive. I swear. Oh my gosh. And he's probably going to get like a future first for AJ Brown. He is such the worst GM who gets bailed out. All right, no, Roseman isn't a bad GM. I was going to say like the head coach. He's such a terrible head coach. Roseman bails out the head coach. That is. Oh my gosh.
Walking into my phone. Dan Orlovsky really loves the pick.
I don't want to hear Dan. I don't want to hear his. Especially given the context, I think Zach, it would be worse. It wouldn't be as bad if like last year's draft and how the quarterbacks were.
guy that doesn't have great size.
or what was it, 2022, the class where you had what the Steelers take the first quarterback at like 18th overall. If that quarterback class was next year, 2022's, and it was supposed to be Barron, I would get this more, Zach. I really would. But the issue is with the fact that it's going to be so jam packed with quarterbacks. I'm I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be pissed next year if we have to spend another pick on a quarterback and they go back to back years first round quarterbacks. Not gonna be good.
I'm trying to see if I can get some more.
Started coming. I said it on the
You're
show.
trying to get more info.
Yeah.
Might be doing the miracle thing.
Sorry, Andy, that Lemon went early. I still think Concepcion wouldn't be a bad pick for Miami or Omar Cooper. I like both of them.
Yeah, but those who went before him. But there wasn't anybody who had time seriously going before 25, 26, and then today he started coming. I said it on this show. I said it on NFL Live. He's gonna go far earlier.
Man, some of these picks are interesting for fantasy. Really are.
Close to the best. Now I've also been
Tyson Olave, that probably drops Tyson to wide receiver 3. You imagine Tate going to the Titans will probably be wide receiver 1, and then Lemon, and then Tate. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it would be Tate, Lemon, then Tyson. Interesting.
Six-time Super Bowl champion this franchise. So many great players that not only come from the Steelers, but from the University of Pittsburgh, from all across the country.
Bringing up Dan Orlovsky.
Pittsburgh area, Western Pennsylvania. They're in.
Oh.
I mean, I think again, when you look at it and you think of it in the broad scale, it makes sense to bring someone in to sit under Stafford.
Yeah.
And when you have the opportunity to bring in somebody, he's the second quarterback to go in this draft. And yes, is he someone who could have, you probably could have got, or most people predicted him to go into the second round? Listening to some of the conversations that there was talk that, he could have been bumped into the later part of the first round. But the Rams have always wanted this guy. They kept it close. This is their guy, and they want him to sit under Stafford.
So let's talk about our second round pick, or like potential wide receivers that we target in the later half of the first round, or if we want to move up tomorrow night. What archetype do you think they're going to be looking for wide receiver 3 or potentially a future wide receiver 2? Do you think they're going to go more towards someone who can replace Davante Adams after he retires? Or do you think they go more purely like role player, gadget, similar to Tutu, in the sense of someone who can fill in a different element of the scheme? Do you think the Rams target like Omar, Casey Concepcion, a Branch? Like Branch and Concepcion would be very similar to like speedy archetypes. I think Branch is more physical than he's given credit for it. I really like Branch. I'm super high on him compared to other people. You have the physical freaks in like Chris Brazel and like Boston, the big guys who can kind of box you out, aggressive with the catch. You have, I would say, the overall like vanilla ice cream going to be a solid wide receiver in Jeremy Bernard. The question is, can he grow in his route running, and can he grow in his deep game? Antonio Williams is a really, really underrated route runner. He is really good. And then like Ted Hurst is a other like physical freak, but a little bit raw. Didn't play a lot of high end competition. What out of all those kind of guys do you think they could be looking at, or do you think they should look in the third or fourth round for potentially like a Strebling, a Surratt, or a Jacoby Lane diamond in the rough?
Yeah, I mean, I liked what when we had the conversation last time. I liked your idea of Branch. I thought he could be
Hmm.
someone who could fit in this well. You look at it, and I could see multiple things. I could see that they want a Devonte Adams replacer in the future. I could see that they want someone a little bit more speedy, who's able to kind of stretch the field a little bit. Um, I could see all that, and so those are where I would focus my areas on. You have to go with another offensive player, an offensive weapon at this point. I mean, you pulled in defensive players, like you said. We brought in McDuffie. Gave away our other first round pick for him. We brought in other players to help boost that up. We need to give Stafford a little bit more. I know that we were running heavy in the 13 personnel and stuff like that, and that's great, but I think we need another receiver when we get into it. I said it before. It frustrated me at times during last season where it always seemed like, you know, Puka Nakua or Devonte Adams were on the sidelines, and and a lot of times they weren't in at the same time. They would rotate each other in, and I want to see less of that. I want to see them two plus somebody else on the field being able to stretch the field and confuse the offenses and not always go tight end heavy. Another offensive
Yeah,
tackle. How many offensive tackles have gone
a
out
lot.
this? Jeez
I
Louise.
it, well, but a lot of them are going to play guard too. So like people have to keep that in mind. So some
Yeah,
of them going to transition to guard. Um, Yeah, and let me kind of defend, or because I know there are a lot of people who are like Tutu Atwell 2.0 when I bring up Branch, and it kind of drives me nuts because he's bigger, he has more body mass, he has a lot more pounds. Not to mention, Tutu wasn't a terrible player. I just think Branch coming out is more refined in his route running. He is stronger. He's a better blocker. I know Andy kind of brought up his off the field issues. I mean, we'll see. I do think if the Rams think he's a bad personality and he can't fit in the culture, they're not going to take him. But they have interviewed with him. I think he's a great underrated wide receiver coming out, and I think he has all the elements of being a really good wide receiver too, and he's a really elite returner. Like you get all the uses where he can be really good wide receiver 3 this year, and in the future he can develop into a great wide receiver too. You get
yeah,
everything you want in a special teams asset. That's my defense of Zachariah Branch and why I think he would be a good fit. I would prefer Cooper over Branch right now.
right.
I I wasn't as high on Casey Concepcion, but in recent weeks I've kind of turned around. I do like Concepcion. At first I didn't fall in love with him, but the arguments I've seen from other people have kind of turned me around on him, and I would be open to him too.
Well, I might have to jump ship unless the Rams decide they want to pull something off here in the next 10 moves, which they certainly can, and you anticipate they will. Um, I think I'm going to jump off. Are you going to stick around?
Yeah, I'll probably stick around for like 10, 15 minutes.
Okay. Well,
But
if the Rams do something, just I will try to jump back
jump
on.
back on. Jump back on it.
Yeah,
Well, thank you for coming in with your awesome spot analysis from our field reporter down at Indiana, Zach.
that's right. Yeah, I met Mendoza.
Yes.
No, I didn't. I'm just kidding. Oh, hey, hold on. Hold your horses. Hold your horses. I'm not jumping off just yet because I believe that the Rams are about to do their press release right now, so we
Okay.
can get
Okay.
instant reaction. I'm going to take my headphones out so I can hear it or hear one side.
Okay. I thought you were saying they were trading up. I was getting excited.
No, I think that means they're done. Since they're having
Yes, that
their
probably does
recap of
mean
day
that.
one. So we'll recap what they say. So give me just a second to hear this.
Crazy.
Oh,
Los Angeles Chargers select Hakeem Matador.
You know what I think right now he's still becoming, but I would say the journey that he's had.
Les Need's kind of talking right now. It kind of just same feeling that he's not replacing Stafford, that he still has time to learn and invest and but saying how tough he is and
The sky was falling in state of Alabama, but to see probably that from that point forward, how they progressed as a team, as a quarterback, and into
Wow.
yeah. So just recapping for anyone who's just joined, the Rams are going to be done for today. They're doing their press recap right now.
Yeah. That means we'll probably end the stream after you finish up with that.
Hold on. Oh, I think they've had conversations with Stenson. Hold on. Sorry, it's hard to hear.
They have someone special. He plays aggressive, and he has the
So he's going to compete with Stenson.
Reaction there. You almost could feel. I don't know if he disappointed. Sometimes guys.
I think I mentioned it the other day. Oh, you can draft someone who you think
Dude.
and could have an injury.
I get the whole side of trust Snead, trust McVay. Y'all act like they haven't missed on picks.
I don't know if you can ever take someone in the draft and say if they're going to come in and play, especially on a team like ours. You have to come in, you have to earn equity, you have to earn trust, right? Before you're going to get a jersey and help us in.
Block out.
Man.
Yeah.
We really took a player who sat his first 3 years of college, only started one season, and was okay. Okay.
There was a lot of players.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing he liked about the body of work is, let's make one thing clear.
Stafford or McVay does say this is Stafford's team.
So to be able to add somebody that you can evaluate a body of work where he was asked to play the position, translate in terms of concepts, some of the different things, the drop back and play action.
So Stetson Bennett may be out the door. Sean McVay does say that he is going to compete, but I don't know if they will continue to have Stetson Bennett. They may still probably look at maybe another veteran to add to the roster.
You feel really fortunate that when you look at
That is idiotic if they get another veteran, to be honest, and pay that money. Unless if it's a vet minimum.
last year to move back to still get the guy that we wanted and then basically be able to get an extra pick. And then, oh, by the way, with your original ones, we'll get a player like Trent McDuffie. So a lot of different things, but we're always going to make decisions that we think are best for the short and the long term. But excited to be able to get started with him. And
McVay's still kind of talking about the short and the long term goals through this draft.
it's probably not necessary now.
Oh, what's that? So I think McVay just said that they are not going to go with a veteran quarterback at this rate.
Tell your provider if you plan to have surgery or a procedure or breastfeed.
I think probably based on his age, how long
right away.
football, that's a variable. So you got to work the right more reps is only
Serious side effects may include pancreas inflammation.
in his case when he did
we go
in
and
there,
cause low blood sugar and
he
diabetes,
played
especially if you take medicines.
right in terms of how he plays. So that could be
nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea.
to start playing mature, but I think that is the benefit.
I think that we also should
It's just transferring, trying to play right there. Is no
just kind of going through things.
developing, getting better.
Saturday, ABC, ESPN.
Mm.
Here's what, and I think, and Sean alluded to it.
NFL Draft on ABC is presented by Heinz.
Going through some of the first round picks, the first picks under Sean McVay,
That's
Gerald Everett, Joe Noteboom, Taylor Rapp, Cam Akers, Tutu Atwell, Logan Bruss, Steve Avila, Jared Verse, and Terrence Ferguson, now Simpsons.
Come back in August. Let's then go to Australia and play game one. And try to be the best team. And try to evolve and be playing our best football.
I feel like this conference is going opposite of years past conferences, that they're seeing the hate. I don't know what you're showing me, but they're seeing the hate.
It is Stafford looking up to the heavens with other QBs retired in Harambe.
Nice.
And the caption is "Come join us, Matthew Stafford."
So watching this press conference, it really feels like someone died in the room. I feel like they're seeing a lot of hate coming from maybe the fan base or from outside sources or whatever. And this doesn't feel like a celebratory moment for them. It feels kind of like they're just doing this out of obligation. They're not excited. I don't know if I see.
You are probably the closest team to being completely Super Bowl ready. You probably should have won it last year, and you didn't make aggressive moves. You come a few plays short 2 years in a row of arguably should have having won a Super Bowl. And then the draft after those 2 years, when you have the highest pick you've ever had since picking Jared Goff, you go backup quarterback. And you're wondering why the fan base is like, what the hell are you doing? This isn't like we're the Packers, where we're losing in the wild card and you're drafting a QB after you're seeing some decline from Aaron Rodgers. This isn't like the Ravens struggling to make the playoffs, getting a future QB and potentially starting him in a year or two while your starter is struggling and a veteran. We are in a window to win now, and you choose with the highest pick to go complete luxury. Not even like tackle would have been better in this situation. I see more of an argument to go tackle than QB. And especially QB that doesn't have a starting resume. He has 1 year of starting 15 games, and he wasn't even that elite in college the 1 year he started. It doesn't make sense, and no wonder the fan base is freaking out over it. You better love this guy to the point where you think he's the next Mahomes.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong. I completely hope they nailed the pick. I really do. I always say this every year. Like or hate a pick, I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong, Zach. I do.
This is weird. Like, I'm watching this and I'm just like,
I mean,
there's no excitement to this press conference. There's words that are like, we're excited for him to come in here.
Zach, I'm watching it too. This looks like Ty Simpson's parents are holding a gun up to their heads. Like behind the camera, they're holding guns to the GM and the head coach.
Like, I just remember last year, there's meme moments in here where where they're doing something funny or acting like, there's just no excitement. There's no joy.
Way more than one play.
I do. I think that there's a huge reaction, and somebody has told them, like,
What do
I
they
don't
think would happen?
think that they
There's
get psyched
no
upon themselves.
Kind of follow the progress.
dude.
Sean McVay, I don't really think cares much what other people think,
I
but I feel like he
yeah,
didn't. I
that's
don't think he
fine.
think that there was going to be this much negativity towards this.
Last game.
Hey, I always say if they
You
like a
start
player
like
and
that
it's their
for
guy,
him and
you
the
go and
team,
get him. If they really love him,
even though they
get him. Like I'm happy they got the guy they love.
could run in the
I
SEC.
think it's insane they love him. Hopefully I'm wrong. It's
Oh,
gonna
he was
be
good.
wild to see. I'm just gonna say, Zach, he better be the best preseason player of human history. These better be the most entertaining preseason games because I'm not gonna get to watch Lemon. I'm not gonna get to watch Sadiq. I better have the most entertaining preseason games I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. Well, the
Did they
press
say
conference is
anything else
over.
on that?
No, that was basically it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to go back through the tape and reevaluate it.
Like a
Oh.
top 10 player in the 2024 season. Fortunately, still waiting to hear his name called. Beyond that,
Oh,
you're
man.
seeing several players that are still here in the green room with me. Like,
Yeah, very interesting.
one season
Closing thoughts on your end, and I'll have closing thoughts, and we'll end the stream here at pick 24. Only 8
I mean,
picks left.
here's a good point. So I'm gonna. This is from JB Long. He posted this on Twitter. He says, "Who's got the Rams have the picks to find their next QB receipts from last night or from the first night last year after the trade of the first round." There was lots of people thinking that they would use this as a Stafford replacement pick for one of these two.
That's when
obviously
we
we
all
didn't.
thought he was going to retire after last year.
Yeah, but we don't know how much longer he has, and I think at this point we knew. I think he was going to come back probably for one more year. So I don't know. It's there goes KC
Crazy, man.
Concepcion. So he is out, and he is now with the Browns. So
You know what?
all right, well,
it's going to be crazy, Zach, if we get Branch and he's going to be one of my guys, but this is going to be one of the weirdest drafts if they get one of my guys, but also take such a crazy pick.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay. Well, so I guess we're going to wrap this up. Do you want me to wrap this up for both of us?
You can wrap it up, and then I'll close it.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody for joining us on this live stream of the first night of the draft. We hope you guys are excited. There's mixed feelings, obviously, with Ty Simpson, and we get that, but we appreciate everyone who jumped on and interacted us within the chat. Really appreciate you guys. If you guys want to continue to follow us on X at East Coast Rams. You can follow Ashton at RamFanAshton1, and you can follow me at Zach Mayer. All of our stuff are found there. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/at East Coast Rams. Ashton, are you doing this again tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think I will end up barring something happening at work and stuff. I switch jobs or offices, so like I'm in a weird place at work, but I'll try to make it work out, and hopefully the Rams don't draft the other QB.
Yeah, I mean, they're the 29th pick, I think 67, something like that overall.
67. Okay.
So they're going to be higher up in that unless they decide they're going to trade down a little bit. So we'll see. I hopefully be able to join on towards the later half of the night if we do decide to do one. So yeah, make sure you subscribe, youtube.com/at East Coast Rams. That's where you can get notified. Hit that bell so you know exactly when we go live. We would appreciate it. Yeah, it's great stuff. Ashton?
Yeah, and guys, I'll just end with saying thank you for everything or everyone who watched, for chatting. Please like and subscribe. And hey, guys, like every year we say, we hope every pick is a slam dunk. I hope he's a future Hall of Famer. I hope we can laugh at this reaction, Zach, and you can be like, "You're so stupid, Ashton." I want more than anything to be completely wrong about Ty Simpson. Trust me, I want to be horrendously wrong. Like I want to be wrong with every pick I don't like by the Rams. I want them to nail every pick because I love watching this team. I don't like watching them struggle. And, these are ultimately people who have families and this is their dream. So hopefully he can prove all the haters and doubters wrong. I hope he proves me wrong. And he's a Ram for life and he's a Hall of Famer.
Yep. All right, guys. With that, we will catch you guys next time. Whose house? It's Los Angeles Rams house. See you guys.